Hello everyone, let's continue to talk about OOP. Today I'm going to write a few examples of inheritance and therefore we will speak about it a bit. Are you ready? Let's get started. Last time we wrote this simple class. It receives a text string and it has a couple of methods to change a style of output HTML. Let's consider a situation when we need not only a fancy text style, but also a different HTML div block style. In this case, one class is not enough, and we will create different classes for different blocks of HTML code. Let's say we have articles and news on our website. Articles have a title, a text, and an author, and news have a title, a text, and a date of publication. Both classes have a method that outputs the whole HTML block, and this method works differently in each class. Okay, now there is a space to implement the inheritance. It is easy to notice that both classes have the same pieces of code, and as we know, programmers would like to avoid repetitive code. Therefore, I'm going to write a parent class for these classes and include those pieces of repetitive code into the parent class. So, I'm creating a class content. It has common for all child classes properties, title and text, and a construction method that gets properties and saves them as public variables. If I run this program, it wouldn't throw an error, but it wouldn't work right either, because I overwrote a construction method. To do it right, I have to either add these functions to the constructor or call a parent constructor function in a child class constructor. So let's look at this process more carefully. I create an instance of an article class and give it 3 parameters. The article class extends a content class, and it calls a content class constructor and sends 2 parameters to it. Those 2 parameters are saved as public variables, and then third parameter is saved in an article public property. So now the article class has all properties it needs to output the whole block correctly because of inheritance. Now let's rewrite the output method in the content class to make it generic. But here it doesn't know anything about authors and dates. So let's create a property output so the method output could return it. And now we need to teach derived methods to work with its own content. So I create methods prepare that would compile an HTML block and put it into content property. Okay, now 2 derived classes use parent method output. Let's create a common method prepare in the content class. Now methods prepare in derived classes override this method. It was useless on the first glance, but I wanted to show you the last thing about the inheritance. It is the final keyword. So now the program works fine. Classes article and news override the public prepare method of parent class, but we can prohibit it and prevent method overriding by using the final keyword. In this case, the program will throw a fatal error because it cannot override final method prepare. Moreover, we can forbid a class inheritance at all. Just use the final keyword before class declaration. Okay, let's sum it up. Inheritance allows the child class use all properties and methods from the parent class. In addition, it can have its own properties and methods. We can override methods in each particular child class if needed, and we can call parents methods from child class methods when we want to. After all, we can forbid inheritance from a class or overriding methods by using the final keyword. Okay, I suppose that is enough for today. let's talk about encapsulation and access modifiers in the next video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, and see you!